Hello, I'm Miel Montague. I'm creating this video to share with you the way that I review a story. I am a judge for the SPSFC competition this year, and I also know what a kick I get out of getting reviews myself on YouTube. So I will post a few reviews, not only of the stories that I'm doing for the contest, but other stories as well. I am the author of Heirs to a Flawed Creation, Stories from Near Earth, Adrift in the Next Revolution, also stories from Near Earth, and To Catch a Witch, a novella. I have a new book coming out November 15th, 2024, Seaward Secrets. It's an urban fantasy, and I think you'll enjoy it. So, to how I review books. I created an evaluation matrix based on interest, execution, and story. I use this for judging all books, but I really created it with the idea of self-published. The reason that I include interest is the whole idea of self-published. This will cover, under interest, we have cover, blurb, and hype. Under execution, we've got structure, prose, and spelling and grammar. And then under story, character, setting, / world building, and conflict. I created a worksheet that I create one worksheet for each story that I read. The scoring sheet is really pretty simple. It's weighted averages between the three main categories and the three subcategories. I score them on a 1-to-5 ratio. It's not really facetious, but I named them nope, all right, good, and great. But when you get down to it, it's just t-shirt sizing. The weighting, I do 20% interest, 20% execution, and 60% story. I think story is the most important part of any story being told. The other parts can be a little bit forgiven, and I can change those ratios, although after testing them a bit, what I found is that this mix of 20-20-60 gives me a consistent result that I'm happy with. That's why it's done that way. So let's talk about those categories. Under interest, I look at the cover, I look at the blurb, and I look at hype. What I'm looking for in a cover is that it's a good, well-done cover that inspires me to pick it up. Would I take it off the shelf, as it were, and turn it over to read the blurb? The blurb, is it catching? Is it something that catches my interest right off? Does it do a good job of teasing the story without giving away anything? And then does it make promises that are followed up on? So if I get onto that first page and start reading, did the blurb tell the truth? In terms of hype, what I'm looking for is, have I ever heard of the story? Have you marketed it? Is it out there and pursuable? Do I know anything about you as an author? And is this something that I would tell my friends about? So cover, blurb, and hype. This is a self-publishing end of it. If you're not doing that stuff, you're not serving your book. In terms of execution, this is just the technical aspects of creating a story. Structure, was the story told in a compelling way? Did the story give me everything I needed to be happy? You know, this is the whole Chekhov's gun thing. What about pacing? Did it move along at a comfortable pace? Did it speed up and slow down at the right places? That kind of thing. Prose, what I'm looking for here is, how much do I enjoy spending time with your words? Do you know how to write a sentence? Does everything come together well? Do you create vivid images for me? Is it Patrick Rothfuss, who is just a joy to read? Or is it, my favorite author is Ernest Hemingway, who is very brief. And then, of course, spelling and grammar. This is technical execution. Did you do a good job of assembling the book? Was it edited? Is it in good shape? Is there anything that pulls me out? Are there any tics that are noticeable? Everybody's got them, so did you manage for that? And then is there anything technically distracting? That could include things like formatting. And then finally, story. Now, this is the part that really matters. This is where most people spend their time and energy. So character, setting, and conflict. In terms of character, is there a character that I can identify with? I do not have to like them. Characters can be despicable. As a matter of fact, some of my favorite characters are horrible people. Do I develop an emotional attachment to the characters in your story? And did I create strong feelings? Negative feelings are okay, but did the writer create a sensation for me with regards to their characters? In terms of setting, does the setting give me a strong sense of place? Do I know where I am and where the characters are, and do I have a good visual representation of where I am? Can I get lost in the story? Does the setting match the story? Believe it or not, that's a miss sometimes. But when you have written your story, does the setting work well with the story that's being told? And then, of course, has the setting become a character? In the best stories, the setting is as important as any one of the characters. Then when we get to conflict, what I'm looking for is, do I have a good, strong central conflict that opens the story, and that when it's resolved, I know that the story has concluded? There could be secondary conflicts. As a matter of fact, most stories should have some secondary conflicts. Are they strong, and do they add to the story? A distraction would be a strong secondary conflict that does not serve the story. So that's one of the things I look for. And then, was it a compelling conflict? Is it something that pulled me all the way through? There you go. The method that I created for myself for reviewing stories. It's an evaluation matrix of interest, execution, and story. I have found that when I use it, I come up with a review that I can stand by. And of course, don't forget to buy my books.